Macca's Guides.
Hey everyone, Macca here, continuing with our 100% walkthrough of South of Midnight. We're now hopping on board with Chapter 10. We'll start the chapter by walking forward. In Chapter 10, we have one health filament upgrade. I believe we have 100 floofs, and I think there are 5 readable collectibles as well. This is a pretty chill chapter. I actually quite like it. It's a good little difference from some of the chapters we've been playing that have been like super long and pretty difficult with some of the bosses and stuff. So this is a little bit of a welcome change. There's a lot of story. There's a few cutscenes. We meet a couple characters, develop the story a little bit, and grab some collectibles along the way. We start off the chapter by going through some of these memories, and at the end of the memories, we'll take control of Hazel here in the new world. The world design is going to be like a nighttime swamp, which isn't necessarily my favorite. It's a little bit complicated in some of the sections as there's like interweaving paths. But overall, not too bad. I'll get you through it. No problem here.
Oh, that's no common foul. Meet me at Kushma's Cabaret. Your mother and I will be waiting for you.
What do you mean? Wait! She's gone. She's gone and it's all my fault.
Hazel?
You again. I guess you came to gloat.
You feeling all right?
I got everything wrong.
Oh, don't be too hard on yourself. You're one of the finest weavers I ever laid eyes on.
Bet I'm the only one you know.
That don't change the fact that you're my favorite. Hey, what's that bit of shiny over there?
I had this dream. Mama was taken by this man. He had a galaxy in his right eye. He tossed this at me.
Hazel, you better watch yourself. That's rude. The right-hand man of Kushma.
Kushma?
You never heard of Kushma? The king of dreams and nightmares? Story goes he feasts on dreamers who gets memento from this Rue fella.
Well, if Rue's got my mama, I've got to try and find him.
Listen up. You don't just go strolling through the land of dreams and nightmares without.
I've got everything I need right here. Where's my stuff?
Gal, you don't want to mess with this Rue fella. We gotta get out of this swamp fast.
Not until I find my spindles. Then I'm going to Kushma's one way or another.
I ain't got no time for arguing. Get your stuff back and I'll meet you when I find a safe way out.
All right, so we are missing a bunch of our like magic objects. We're going to go and collect some of those now. So we'll stick along the main story path. You may have some upgrades available here. I'm going to skip that just for a few minutes as I work towards regaining all of my gear. And once I do that, I'll talk a little bit about upgrades and stuff. But let's just continue along the path until we reach the spider web. Here you will interact with a memory of your track shoe and learn that your mom was sacrificing some of her abilities to come see you at your track meets so that she could afford more shoes for you. So it's supposed to build a little bit of the character dynamics in the game. For the chapter, as I mentioned, 100 floofs, I believe 5 readables, and 1 health filament upgrade as we kind of approach the ending hours of the game. And there's a couple floofs here that are along the main path, but there are a couple off the beaten path as well. Not too many combat scenarios either. This one is much of a story developer. So let's go ahead and regain control of our character here. Walk forward, and as you kind of come around the bend, you'll notice a tree stump that we're going to use to cross around the river. And as soon as you fall off and drop down, you should notice a floof pretty much directly next to you. Then we can go ahead and walk forward through the crack in the rocks and follow along for a little bit here.
Nope. Don't want to know. Gotta get to Kushmas. Even flowers are out for blood here?
Your mama's worried sick.
A little bit of a new mechanic here coming around this corner. You've probably noticed the kind of Venus flytrap type character. And the Venus flytrap type character basically shuts its mouth when you touch it, and we're going to have to be navigating across them as platforms. So it's pretty simple. Just don't land on them for too long. You have to basically land and immediately keep jumping. And when you do that, it might look something like this. And if you do it correctly, which is pretty easy, you'll get across. Here you'll notice a platform in front of us, and we'll have a small conversation with the catfish. You may also notice like a health pod to your right, meaning there's a combat arena coming pretty soon. But before we do any of that, we're going to grab a floof. So let me direct you to that once the catfish is done talking to us. Look to the left of the platform we're supposed to go to. You'll notice the floof on the ledge there, and you should be able to navigate to it using a wooden beam that leads to some platforming walls. You'll platform across the walls by shimmying, jumping, and getting to the floof and picking it up. There was a exploding bramble there that I accidentally hit, but it didn't throw me off, luckily. And this floof is worth another 10. We can then double jump and glide our way to the main objective strand, jumping down into the combat arena, where I'll rejoin you after the combat.
Gotta catch up to Mahalia.
Go ahead and clear the stigma once you complete that battle. And let me just situate myself here before I tell you what we're doing next. Got to see what's coming up. I believe we're just going to follow the main objective strand towards recovering some of our next parts of our build here. So as you come around the corner, you'll notice a wooden ledge you can jump across, and you'll have to glide. Then you'll drop down, and you'll notice that there is a crouton hole in front of you. Do not go there. Instead, look to your left from where you landed. And if you go up the hill to your left, first we'll grab the readable at the end. This is going to be readable number 1 of 5. And then after the readable, go ahead and grab the floof, as it's pretty hard to miss on your way out. And then you'll want to proceed around the corner here. Use crouton in the hole, which will let you get across and grab one of your magic ability items. As you come out of the hole, go ahead and interact with the magic object. Bring it back to Hazel. And then here you'll now be able to use your grappling point to get across the water. As you get across the water, watch out for the exploding mushrooms in front of you. Noticing a floof in a building. We don't go for the floof first. There's a readable. Hook to the right-hand side around the corner. You'll notice a house. Go inside that house and grab the readable on the wall for readable number 2 out of 5. Once inside of this house, use your push strand on the roots to clear a path up this log. at the end of the log, you can double jump and glide your way into that building I mentioned earlier, and you can grab the floof that's inside here. From that floof, we can rejoin our main path here, and then hop up the ledge.
That was her again.
Just another minute or two, and we'll be using some of our floofs to upgrade our abilities. Pretty exciting time as we get a lot of achievements. But you can go, press left trigger to grapple into the next combat arena. You know the drill here. Just get through it. If you're still missing some combat achievements, decent place to work on some of them, but it's up to you. Alright, so after you defeat this combat arena, you might be looking for the stigma. So to get the stigma, there is a small hole here underneath this log in the corner. And here you can use Crouton to get underneath. And then Crouton can unravel it to clear the path towards some of the next stuff we need here. After you clear it, just rejoin the main path, which is between the crack in the rocks. And here, I believe, is where we get all of our instruments back, which is why I've been holding off on some of the upgrades. We don't really need the upgrades to get through some of those battles, but once we get through this tiny section, we'll have everything available pretty much. So coming around the corner here, you'll notice your final spindle, and then near that spindle is a bridge, and at the end of that bridge is a tunnel for Crouton. So I just tossed Crouton across. I'm going to get into the burrow. And here you do have to watch out. This is one of the only kind of burrows in the game where you can actually like lose, because the pokey bits can push you off of the edge of the map. So I'm just going to be a little bit more careful on this one as to not waste time having to do that a second time. And then once I get through, it's an easy one, but it is possible to fail this one as opposed to many of the others. As soon as we do that, it should clear the stigma next to our final spindle. And then once we grab this magic object, we now have all of our abilities back. Let's go ahead and press up on the D-pad. We have 475 floofs available, so let's start unlocking some achievements. I'm going to go for the Purifying Rend at the end of General. Doing that should get me the General-related ability achievement. I'm going to unlock the final stage of Weave, and I'm going to unlock the final stage of Pull. Each one of those should give me an achievement uniquely, and then I should be able to get Strand Push or Crouton by the end of the mission, and another one by the end of the next mission. With a couple of those out of the way, go ahead and materialize the platform to get across the gap. In the distance, you'll notice kind of a yellow tree with some fireflies on it. And right next to this, if you look to your left instead of your right where you're supposed to go, look over the water and you'll see a rope in the middle. Here you'll be able to press LB to materialize it. And then once it's materialized, you should be able to just kind of walk to the edge of the water, use the left trigger to navigate across, watching out for the exploding mushrooms on your landing, and grabbing the health filament as you land. 2 more health filaments left in the game, and then use your grapple point to get back across. Rejoin the main story path here. And here we'll come into a bit of an open area where we have to interact with like 4 firefly trees. You can do them in pretty much any order. I'll be doing them in a specific order just to maximize how quickly we get all of the collectibles. So in front of us here, you'll see the kind of bonfire firefly tree. You'll also notice some floofs up to the right, kind of next to us. I'll pan my camera as soon as the game allows me to. So you'll see some floofs here. We're going to ignore those for now. We'll get them on the way back from one of the routes because there's kind of 4 unique places we need to go. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to grab this tree directly in front of us. The next thing we're going to do is, while looking at that tree that we just did, go to the left side path, so basically clockwise. As you work around the map clockwise, you should notice a weavable staircase that leads up to a building. Push the planks into the building, and then in this building, you'll find a readable. This is readable number 3 out of 5, so we'll grab that. Then we'll continue through that building and drop down. Continue along the path here past the rock. And then here you'll be able to navigate across the kind of Venus flytrap. You'll have to weave a platform for yourself. And then as you fall into this next area, a pretty obvious floof directly in front of you. So let's go ahead and grab that floof for plus 20. If you want to pause your game, I'm at 65 out of 100. After that floof, go ahead and blow the planks near the little structure. Use crouton to get underneath. And once you're underneath here, you can interact with the firefly tree. And once you interact with the firefly tree, that's 2 out of the 4 fireflies for this area. We can now kind of start heading back towards the center by following the logs here. And then this will bring you back to that main tower with that main bonfire. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go counterclockwise again this time. And as we go, keep an eye out on the right-hand side for yourself. There's a little bit of a break in some of the shrubbery. Here you'll see a grapple point across some water that leads into a broken down shed. And then once you reach into the shed, you'll find a readable on your left. Make sure you grab that readable. It's going to be number 4 out of 5. You can use some of the rocks here to clear the mushrooms on the other side, so do that. Double jump, glide your way across, and then you'll notice the fireflies at the very far end. We can't reach that, so we're going to have to use crouton by holding the right bumper and tossing him across. And then you can spawn as him, watching out for some of these fire ants that can hurt you and push you around, but they're not really much of a challenge either. Interacting with the fireflies for 3 out of 4. And then navigate back to the center using the path nearby. And from this nearby path, you'll have to basically double jump and glide your way to that floof I pointed out at the beginning. So once you double jump and fly over here, you can grab that floof, which we are now at 85 out of 100. Next up, we can just get the final fireflies to fill up the bonfire completely. So we can follow our objective strand here across the river. And again, we can't get across this one, so we're going to use crouton. And we're going to give him a good old toss across the water. Change into him, and then you can drop down underneath the decking here. And then you can get through the next kind of little burrow hole. Watch out for some of these ants. This one's a little annoying if you're not quick about it. And then just keep following our path here up and to the left, I guess. Yep. And then watching out for more of the fire ants around the corner. More fire ants. And then through the next burrow hole. As we come out of the other side, we can interact with the bonfire or the fireflies. We can now investigate the bonfire, which we are going to do. Just go up to it and throw crouton into the backside of it. Once he goes inside, you can press Y, and I believe there is a cutscene right after.
Come on, Mahalia. Give me something. A way out. Anything. You're not what I expected. That shout earlier, was that you? Oh, no, hey, my bad. I won't hurt you. I promise. Oh, this little dude? He's as small as you are big, ain't he? I don't have time to play with you. Come on, Crouton. We gotta go find Mama.
You're a long way from home, child. Remember, you'll always find your way if you keep those that walk with you in your heart.
You all right? Okay, okay. One game, honey. And then we get you sorted out, all right? 1, 2, 3, 4.
All right, so our next little objective here, if you were to pause the game, would be to play with honey, I guess. So that's what we'll do. We'll go ahead and follow our objective strand here for a little bit.
Found you.
We found honey one time. This one, all this is pretty easy, but there are some collectibles kind of along the way. I believe there's one on this second location they'll be at. So again, we're just going to follow the objective strand once we get a chance here. And once we are following our objective strand, it should lead us to a jump across some water over here. And you will have to kind of double jump over the water and glide. Go around the corner, and around the corner I believe there will be a grappling point. We're going to be hooking around to the right where our strand is guiding us. Use the grapple point to get across. You would imagine there would be an arena here, but there is not. Instead, there is a floof that we will pick up on the ground. And at this point, we can actually press up on the D-pad and get our next upgrade. I'm going to get the strand push upgrade for yet another achievement here, worth 15. So we only have the crouton upgrade now to grab really quick. We can now move forward and interact here with honey.
You're already pretty big, but that giggling really gives you away. Last one. 1.
And as soon as they hide again, we're going to pretty much just follow our objective marker straight to them. There is nothing that is missable along the way here. It's not a very long journey, maybe 10, 15 seconds. But once you reach them, there will be a short cutscene, and we'll be kind of closing out the chapter pretty soon, but there are collectibles kind of right up until the last moment.
Someone who cares to come along.
After you do reach them here, by the way, they will kind of help you with a platform that you need in order to make progress through the level. So that's kind of the natural story progression here.
That was the last one. No more. Do you know a way out of here? Didn't realize this was a thing you could do. Good to know. Here we go. Can't trust my own gut sometimes, but I can trust Mahalia.
All right, so once you squeeze through, you'll end up in Honey's home. You can tour the home in order to kind of finish the chapter. There are 2 collectibles you want to grab in here first. As you enter, look directly to your left, hooking around the corner for our final 10 floofs. So once we grab those 10 floofs, feel free to pause your game and check that you're at 100 out of 100. We got our health filament upgrade earlier. And then at the far end of the area, we have a readable here on the wall. This is number 5 out of 5. And to do a double check, if you back out of that and go to your readables, we are at 74 out of 103. There are quite a bit of readables at the end of the game here. So now we have to tour the house. So we'll interact with the rock painting near the fireplace. We can also interact with, to the right of Honey, we can interact with this kind of red plank. So we'll interact with that. And last but not least, we can interact with Honey as well. And then that will kind of lead us towards our next objective. So interact with Honey here. Probably going to be a cutscene at some point to end off the chapter. I'm just not, off my memory, don't exactly remember when and where. So after you tour a little bit, I believe you are able to rest near the fireplace. You kind of have to wait a couple of seconds and keep walking around for that to trigger. So once kind of Honey goes to sleep, you can now rest by the bonfire with Honey. I don't know if that's a timing-based thing or like just taking steps, but make sure you have the collectibles before you rest, as resting leads to the end of the chapter. You know the drill. Drop a like, share the video with a friend. Special thanks to everyone on Patreon for supporting the show. Peace.